She wasn't a full-on bully. Just that kind of girl who made you feel small with every glance, every sarcastic laugh. I spent years swallowing it, every insult, every eye roll, pretending it didn't bother me. But one day, at a middle school field trip of all places, I finally got my chance. And the best part? My revenge cost me exactly 25 cents. If you've ever had someone treat you like you didn't matter, but deep down you wished karma would show up, this story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for a surprisingly satisfying little dose of middle school justice. Middle school. That awkward blur between childhood and real life, where everyone's trying to prove they matter. And then, there was her, Megan. She wasn't the stereotypical villain, not the one throwing punches or starting fights. No, she was subtler, smarter, the kind who used tone as her weapon. Her favorite pastime? Making people feel less without ever breaking a rule. I was one of her quieter classmates, the kind teachers liked but popular kids overlooked. Whenever group work rolled around, she'd sigh dramatically if she got paired with me. "Guess I'm doing all the work again," she'd mutter, loud enough for everyone to hear. I laughed it off back then, pretending I didn't care. But inside, it stung, like a paper cut that never heals because you keep reopening it. She'd roll her eyes when I answered questions, correct me in front of others, and sometimes whispered jokes about me to her friends while I stood right there. I never fought back. That wasn't me. I was the stay quiet and survive the day kind of kid. But silently, I hated her guts. Fast forward to the end of 8th grade. The teachers planned a final field trip to a local skating rink, one last, fun day, before we all went off to high school. The place smelled like cheap pizza and rubber wheels. Neon lights flickered above us, music pulsed through every corner, and in the back wall, there were rows of bouncy ball dispensers. You know the kind, 25 cents, twist the knob, and a tiny colorful ball shoots out like magic. A few of my friends went wild with them. Every quarter they had turned into another ball bouncing across the rink floor. It was chaos, balls flying everywhere, teachers yelling, kids laughing. I didn't have much cash on me, maybe $2 in quarters. But for some reason, collecting those little spheres felt peaceful. Each bounce, each color, was something small I could actually control. By the end of the trip, I had a Ziploc bag full of bouncy balls, a small trophy from a day that actually felt happy. For once, I wasn't thinking about Megan or anyone else. Just the quiet satisfaction of having something that was mine. The bus ride back to school was noisy, kids shouting, trading snacks, comparing their hauls. I remember sitting near the front, clutching that bag like it was treasure. When we finally got off the bus, everyone started filing down the hallway. I was walking ahead, bag swinging from my hand, when I heard a familiar voice behind me. Her voice. Hey, Megan called out, half teasing, half sweet, the tone she used when she wanted something. I turned slightly. She was smiling that fake smile, eyes fixed on the bag in my hand. "Can I have a couple of those?" she asked, like it was the most casual thing in the world. That moment froze in time. 8 years old again, 12, 13, every eye roll, every insult, every tiny humiliation flashed through my mind like film reels snapping back to life. I could have handed her one. I could have smiled, played the nice guy, and walked away like always. But no. Not this time. I don't remember my exact words, but it went something like, "No. You can't." I didn't raise my voice. Didn't smirk. Didn't explain. Just, "No." And the look on her face, it was beautiful. That tiny flicker of annoyance, surprise, entitlement denied. Her eyebrows pulled together, lips tightened, like she couldn't quite process that I, the quiet kid, had just refused her. She tried again, forcing a laugh. "Oh, come on, you've got plenty." "Yeah," I said, "and I'm keeping them." I walked away before she could say another word. Each step felt lighter. For the first time in years, I wasn't the quiet kid keeping the peace. I was the one setting it. Most people would say it was petty, a childish "no" over a handful of rubber balls. But if you've ever been quietly disrespected over and over, you know it wasn't about the balls. It was about taking back something small that she'd stolen long ago, my dignity. As I walked down that hallway, I felt it, that tiny surge of power that comes when you finally stop shrinking yourself for someone else's comfort. The bag rustled in my hand, the colors glinting under fluorescent lights. Every bounce, every bright little sphere, felt like a piece of myself, something I'd earned, protected, and refused to surrender. She didn't follow me. She didn't apologize. But she looked irritated, and that was enough. To anyone else, it was nothing. To me, it was everything. Years passed. High school, college, adulthood. Life moved on, but that small moment stayed in the back of my mind like a hidden photograph, a reminder that even quiet people have limits. Sometimes, when I faced someone who tried to push me around later in life, a boss, a coworker, anyone, I'd think of that hallway. That moment when I finally said no to the person who thought they could always get their way. It taught me something huge. You don't need to shout to stand your ground. You just need the courage to stop giving what people never earned. A few years ago, I got curious and looked her up on social media. Megan had turned into exactly what you'd expect, the Instagram highlight reel, endless selfies, boss babe quotes, fake smiles hiding some kind of restlessness. I didn't feel anger. I didn't even feel satisfaction. Just peace. Because here's the truth, she probably forgot that day ever happened. But I didn't, and not because I held a grudge. Because that was the day I realized I didn't need her approval anymore. It wasn't about revenge in the flashy, movie sense. It was quiet, simple, and deeply personal. Sometimes karma doesn't arrive as lightning, sometimes it's just one person learning to say no, and meaning it. That day in the hallway wasn't just me saying no to bouncy balls, it was me saying no to being small. She wanted something for free, something she thought she deserved simply because she was used to getting her way. But when I denied her, the expression on her face said it all, she'd never expected resistance from someone like me. And that's the beauty of quiet revenge. It doesn't always come wrapped in fireworks or public humiliation. Sometimes, it's just the satisfaction of watching the person who looked down on you realize, they no longer have power over you. Looking back, I still smile at how small that moment was, and how big it felt inside. Revenge doesn't always need to destroy someone, sometimes, it's just choosing yourself for once. And if you've ever been the quiet one who finally spoke up, you know exactly how good that feels. If this story gave you that little spark of satisfaction, hit the like button, it helps more people find stories like this. Tell us in the comments, what's the pettiest but most satisfying revenge you've ever pulled off? And don't forget to subscribe, because here, every quiet victory deserves to be heard.